Welcome to Crushed Husband. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's begin. She didn't even look up from her phone when she said it. If you're gonna leave, just do it already. I won't stop you. That was it. No emotion, no hesitation. Like I was some door-to-door salesman she was tired of pretending to be polite to. My name's Darren. I'm 41. I live, or used to live, in Fort Scott, Kansas. I stood in the hallway for a second, keys in one hand, suitcase handle in the other. I didn't answer her. I didn't even sigh. I just turned and walked back into the bedroom to finish packing the last of my things. She was still on the couch when I zipped up the second duffel, scrolling, legs curled up like she had nowhere to be and nothing to care about. Quick note, before we go deeper, share which city or country you're watching from. Her voice floated down the hall again, flat and sharp. Don't forget your toolbox. Wouldn't want you coming back for it. That toolbox had been in the laundry room since we moved in. She'd made fun of it more than once, called it my little man cave in a plastic box. I grabbed it anyway. I didn't speak. I didn't slam doors. I didn't give her the show she probably expected. I kept calm, steady. My hands didn't even shake. Because this wasn't a tantrum. This was strategy. You don't fight a forest fire with a garden hose. You wait until the wind shifts. For years I'd let her write the rules. How I dressed. Who I talked to. When I spoke during her family dinners. And always with that same smug smile, like I was the stray she reluctantly let inside. But today, I wasn't the stray anymore. I'm serious, Darren, she called out. You walk out that door, don't come crawling back when you realize how stupid this is. I didn't bother with a response. I just tossed the duffel in the back of my truck and locked the tailgate. She muttered something from inside, probably to herself, but loud enough for me to hear. Won't change a damn thing around here. I slid into the driver's seat. Ignition turned, AC humming. I didn't look at the house. I didn't give her the satisfaction. I shifted into reverse, and just like that, I was gone. The drive to my new place was quiet. No music, no phone calls, just the low hum of tires on cracked asphalt and a feeling I hadn't had in a long time. Clarity. The apartment was bare, just like I left it. One folding chair, a mattress on the floor, a lamp in the corner. But in the back of the closet sat a file box I hadn't touched in years. I pulled it out, dropped it on the carpet, and started flipping through. Tax returns, business cards, warranty papers. Then I saw it. Green folder, heavy paper, signatures at the bottom. That old land agreement, it took me right back. 10 years ago, I was waist deep in the farm business. Early mornings, late nights, hauling feed, fixing fences, meeting with vendors when her dad didn't feel like it. I wasn't just the son-in-law. I was the guy they leaned on when stuff got tight. Her dad, Frank, didn't trust anyone outside the family, but he trusted me. Or maybe he just saw I wasn't going anywhere. We were standing in his office when he made the offer, clear as day. You keep up with the work, and that easement road's yours. Legal, proper, under your name. My lawyer will draw it up. You'll get something for all this sweat. I shook his hand that same afternoon. At the time, I thought it was a thank you, a piece of the farm, proof that I mattered to them. But the truth was, I was a convenience. Cheap labor with a smile. And when the new grain contract came in and money got better, suddenly I wasn't invited to meetings anymore. Her brothers started showing up more. I got pushed out slow and quiet, like it was just natural. I sat there on that bare floor with the contract spread out in front of me, still valid, still recorded with the county, my name, clear as day, controlling that narrow stretch of dirt road that fed directly into the farm's west entrance. Back then, it felt like a small reward. Now, it looked a hell of a lot more like a loaded weapon. I flipped through the folder again. Map attached. Boundaries marked. I could practically hear Frank's voice in my head, brushing it off all those years ago like it was nothing. Hell, nobody uses that road but us. Exactly. They'd forgotten it. They thought I forgot it too. But they built their whole supply chain around that shortcut. Big trucks couldn't make the turn on the east side. That road, my road, was the artery. And now, they didn't see me as part of anything. I was a used napkin, tossed aside. But they were wrong. I slid the folder back into the box, then pulled out a stack of old invoices, receipts, emails, proof that I'd been the one running that side of things for years. Everything documented, nothing sloppy. They thought I left empty-handed, but the truth was, I'd been holding the key the whole damn time, and I was just getting started. I laid out the documents on the floor like puzzle pieces, the green folder dead center. This wasn't just old paperwork anymore. It was a blueprint. The easement deed was ironclad. Survey markers, legal boundaries, no expiration, sole control, in my name only. They couldn't touch that road without my written consent. I grabbed a pen and started underlining key sections. Exclusive right-of-way, non-revocable, permanent access granted solely at discretion of holder. The whole thing might as well have said, "You own their bloodline." The more I read, the more I saw it. This wasn't some minor land footnote. It was a choke point. Every feed truck, fertilizer drop, seed shipment, they all came through that half-mile stretch of gravel road. They built the entire backside of the operation, assuming it would always be there. And they forgot it wasn't theirs. Frank never asked to update it, never brought it up after the handshake. He probably assumed I'd just keep showing up, grease the gate, trim the brush like a good little helper. But I remembered when that road got paved the first time. He didn't want to pay a contractor, so I rented the roller myself and spread gravel with a skid steer for 3 straight weekends. He never said thanks. "Just leave the invoice on my desk," he said. "I'll get to it." He never did. I kept flipping through records, utility permits, zoning maps, even a few emails with the township back when they rerouted drainage. My name was all over it, no one else's. And now I had something they didn't. Options. This wasn't about revenge. I wasn't some bitter ex clinging to old paper. This was power, legal, binding, and long forgotten by everyone but me. I opened my laptop and searched through old contacts. Real estate guys I used to grab beers with after farm shows. Most were small time, but one name stood out. Clay Rowan, sharp as hell, always sniffing for the next development angle. He'd once flipped a property near the edge of town and turned a 5-acre ditch into a strip mall. I pulled out my phone and hit dial. "Rowan," he answered on the second ring. "Clay, it's Darren Carver. You got a second?" "Darren? Damn, haven't heard that name in a minute. What's up?" "I've got a private easement I want to move. Zoned ag, but development potential is solid. More important, it cuts off a major access point to an active farm." Silence, then a low whistle. "Sounds messy, my favorite kind. You selling or playing games?" "I'm selling." "Good. Send me scans tonight. If it's clean, I'll have numbers to you tomorrow." I hung up without saying goodbye. No reason to drag it out. He got it. Back on the floor, I gathered the documents into a fresh folder, labeled it in thick black marker, Road Control. I knew this wouldn't be quick. They wouldn't notice right away. Maybe a few trucks would reroute. Maybe Frank would curse the county first. They'd try to fix it with phone calls and empty threats, but they'd fail, slowly. This wasn't going to be a firestorm. It was going to be erosion, one crack at a time. I wasn't shouting. I wasn't threatening. I was just turning off the valve and letting them run dry. I sent Clay the scans that night. Deed, survey, easement contract, a few photos of the road. Took maybe 20 minutes. By morning, he'd already texted back. Clean as hell. "Let's meet. Tomorrow, noon, not my office." We agreed on a little diner just outside of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Neutral, quiet, and full of retired folks who didn't care about real estate or farm gossip. Clay walked in wearing the same weathered leather jacket he always wore, sunglasses still on his face, even though we were inside. He slid into the booth across from me like we were grabbing coffee, not prepping to change someone's world. "Hell of a find," he said, pulling out a yellow legal pad. "No liens, no clauses, no hooks. This is prime leverage, man." "You sure it's worth something?" I asked, even though I already knew. He looked up at me like I was an idiot. "You're offering a private road that's the only viable access point for a working farm. If they lose it, they bleed. And even if they fight it, that fight takes time. Time kills crops." I leaned back, arms crossed. "I'm not looking to go public with it. No headlines, no county blowback. Quiet and clean. Then we sell to someone who knows how to be quiet." He slid the pad across the table. A number written at the top in thick ink. I read it, said nothing, then nodded. Good? He asked. Better than good. Clay tapped the paper. You'll get the first payment in escrow within 48 hours. Final transfer signed by end of week. I'll put it under one of my holdings, keep it off the radar. Nobody'll know you were involved unless they dig like hell. They won't dig, I said. They'll panic first. Clay chuckled. Still that cold, huh? Not cold, just finished. He nodded, folding up his notes. I respect that. Most guys want to torch the place. You're just flipping the switch. I didn't answer. Didn't need to. We signed the papers in the back of the diner. He had a manila envelope ready, already tabbed and notarized. It was done in 15 minutes flat. No handshakes, no sentimental talk, just business. I walked out first. The sky was overcast, but the air felt still, like a held breath. I got in my truck, sat for a minute, and checked my email. Contract received, confirmation pending, wire in motion. It was all falling into place. No hiccups, no noise. They'd never see it coming. 2 mornings later, I parked on a gravel turnout off County Road 9, half a mile from the turnoff to the west gate. Coffee in hand, windows cracked, just waiting. Right on schedule, a red feed truck rolled past me. Mason Grain, their regular supplier. Same driver I'd seen for years. Old guy with a ponytail and a habit of chewing sunflower seeds while unloading pallets. But today he didn't make it to the gate. 200 feet out, he hit the brakes. A thick metal swing arm blocked the road, bolted into concrete on both sides. Just behind it stood a uniformed guard, clipboard in one hand, toll sign in the other. Private access, authorized entry only, toll required. The driver leaned out his window, squinting. What the hell is this? Private road now, the guard said, calm as anything. Property transfer last week. Toll collections active as of this morning. You serious? The guard nodded. You can pay at the booth or reroute. You'll need alternate clearance for east side access. The guy just stared at him. I could hear the engine idling from where I sat. 10 minutes later, here came Frank. His black Dodge kicked up dust as it barreled down the road, front bumper rattling like always. He didn't even park, just threw it in park half off the road and got out. What's going on here? He barked. The guard didn't flinch. Sir, this land is no longer open access. Ownership changed. Toll required for all commercial vehicles. Bullshit, Frank snapped. This is family property. Not this stretch, sir. The guard tapped the sign. Legal transfer recorded with the county clerk. We're enforcing it now. Frank puffed up, chest out, jaw tight. He glanced at the truck, then back at the gate, like he expected it to vanish if he stared hard enough. Who the hell bought this? The guard didn't answer, just stood there, still as a fence post. Is this some kind of goddamn joke? Frank shouted. I've been using this road for 20 years. Not anymore. Frank turned back to the driver. Go around, he said. East side can't take the load, the driver replied. I'll blow my axle. Frank cursed under his breath, kicked a rock into the ditch, and stormed back to his truck. I watched him peel out, tires spinning, gravel flying behind him. No calls, no confrontation, not yet. But the crack had started. I took one last sip of coffee, put the truck in gear, and headed the opposite way. By the time I hit the edge of town, my phone lit up with Clay's name. I answered on the first ring. You're all set, he said. County recorded the deed this morning. Toll system's live. Your name's off everything. Clean hands. Any pushback? Couple angry calls from randos trying to verify ownership, he said, chuckling. We routed them straight to voicemail. The guard's been briefed. Toll stands unless someone shows up with a court order, which, spoiler alert, they don't have. I pulled into a gas station lot and parked, staring through the windshield. Drivers turning around yet? More than a few. Word spreading fast. 2 suppliers already contacted us asking about access rights. Frank's crew won't be able to hide it much longer. I let that sink in. Clay continued. You realize you just boxed in a whole operation, right? Like, boxed in. They're either paying or stalling. That's it. Exactly what I wanted. You sure you're not going to soften up? He asked. Family pressure hits different. I cracked the window. Breeze rolled in, warm and dry. Not this time. Clay paused. All right, just say the word if you want to raise the toll. We can get creative. I'll keep it steady. Let him feel the pinch first. Roger that. You're in the driver's seat now, buddy. I hung up. I didn't feel excited, no adrenaline, no smug satisfaction. Just steady, even calm, like leveling something that was already half collapsed. The thing about Frank was, he thought everyone could be pushed. County officials, vendors, even me. All bark, all bluff. And for years, it worked. He'd puff out his chest, drop a name, raise his voice, and suddenly the world bent to him. But this wasn't a favor he could reverse. Wasn't a contractor he could fire. This was law, recorded, signed, sold. I checked my email. 2 messages from supply companies asking for alternate delivery options. One mentioned delay penalties. Another said they'd suspend shipments if access wasn't guaranteed within 72 hours. I didn't reply. They'd call Frank soon enough. And when they did, he'd realize this wasn't some misunderstanding. It was a chokehold, not to kill, just to hold. I didn't need to break the farm. I just needed them to feel what it was like when someone else held the keys. All these years, they treated me like I didn't matter, like I was a guest in their house, barely tolerated, smile for the holiday photo, stand quietly in the corner at harvest meetings, know my place. Now they could sit in the same silence and figure out who the hell I really was. For the first time in years, I wasn't reacting. I was deciding, and I wasn't done yet. 3 days after the toll kicked in, the local feed co-op stopped deliveries altogether. Their dispatcher left a voicemail on the main farm line. Until access is guaranteed, our trucks won't risk it. I didn't need to spy. I knew how that message would land. Frank was the kind of man who barked orders before he asked questions. If something didn't go his way, he'd blame the other guy and puff up until someone caved. But now, there was no one left to lean on. I heard from Clay that Frank had driven to the zoning office twice in the same day. Walked in loud, came out quiet. He even brought a lawyer with him the second time. Didn't matter. The paperwork was airtight. County clerk backed it. Toll was legal. Road was private. By the end of the week, the grain bin was half empty and nothing was coming in to refill it. Someone from the bank, probably a loan officer with a polite smile and a nervous cough, called asking about access logistics. That meant Frank had gone begging. He never did that unless he was bleeding cash. I saw his truck parked outside First National. He sat inside for almost 2 hours. Heard from an old neighbor that tempers were high on the property. Machinery sitting idle. Staff hours cut. Her brothers arguing about alternate delivery routes. But without the West Road, nothing over 10 tons could make it in without tearing up the fields. Then, on a Thursday night, my phone rang. Her name lit up the screen. I let it buzz until it went to voicemail. 2 minutes later, she called again. I answered. Yeah? She didn't waste time. You've made your point. No, I said. Not yet. A pause. Then that familiar tone, the one she used when she needed something. Look, I get it. You're pissed. But this is your family too. We built this together. I almost laughed. Did we? I know we've had our problems, Darren, but this is extreme. People are getting hurt. They're not my people anymore. You think you're proving something? That you were right? I don't need to prove anything, I said flatly. The paperwork does it for me. Another long pause. I could hear her breathing through her teeth. You should come back, she said, soft now. Maybe we can talk. Fix things. Is that what you want? Or what your father wants? Click. She hung up. That told me everything. It wasn't about me. It never was. I was just the last lever they could pull. And when that didn't work, they'd panic. They were already living tight. Payments stalled, suppliers pushing penalties, harvest window shrinking by the day. And all of it traced back to a stretch of gravel road they forgot to respect. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need a scene, I just needed time. And they were running out of it. 10 minutes after she hung up, I heard pounding on my apartment door. Not knocking, pounding. I opened it, and there she was. Hair thrown up like she didn't have time to check a mirror, jacket half zipped, cheeks flushed from the heat, eyes sharp. You really did it, she said, stepping inside without asking. You actually sold it. I shut the door, but didn't move closer. Yep. You sold the road. Our road. You cut off your own damn family. No, I said. Your family. Big difference. Her eyes were already glassy, but it wasn't sadness. It was fury barely held in check. You've ruined everything, she snapped. The deliveries, the payroll, the harvest. We can't even get basic supplies. You should have thought about that before you treated me like a spare part for 10 years. We gave you a life, she shouted. Your dad used me, I cut in. And you let him. Every time he told me to shut up and stay in line, you looked the other way. She paced the room, breathing hard, hands clenched like she didn't know what to do with them. This isn't you, she said finally. You're not this cold. You used to care. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. I used to care because I thought I mattered. Turns out I was just the guy who fixed fences and smiled through insults at Thanksgiving. That's not fair, she said, voice cracking a little. We had good years. No, we had useful years. There's a difference. She stopped pacing. So what? This is payback? You burn everything down and walk away with a check? This is me putting myself first, something none of you ever did. You think this makes you the bigger person? She snapped. No, I said. It just makes me the one holding the cards. Silence dropped between us like a hammer. Her face shifted, anger draining, desperation creeping in. I don't want to lose everything, Darren. You already did. She stepped closer. You really don't care what happens to us? I met her eyes. Not anymore. She blinked like she was expecting something else. Regret. Softness. An opening. I didn't give it to her. I came here thinking maybe you'd talk to me, she said, quieter now. That maybe we could fix it. You came here because the bank won't fix it. The lawyers won't fix it. And now you're out of people to manipulate. Her shoulders dropped. The room felt small, stale. You're really not coming back. No. She turned toward the door, hand on the knob, back still to me. This isn't over. It is for me. She hesitated, then yanked the door open and walked out. I closed it behind her, locked it, didn't look through the peephole, didn't watch her walk away. Because this wasn't about the road anymore. It was about who finally had control. The next morning, I opened my laptop and found the first article. Local farm faces major access crisis as harvest season nears. Small town paper, buried halfway down the page. But it was there. No names, but I didn't need them. I knew that photo, shot from a drone, aimed straight at the west gate with the toll sign front and center. Sources report escalating delivery delays and a standoff over private road access. I closed the tab. That was just the beginning. 2 days later, a vendor I used to know called me, said Frank had tried to barter equipment rentals with IOUs. He looked like hell, the guy said, like someone who ran out of rope and just kept pulling. The farm wasn't built to stall. Everything ran tight, feed in, product out. A missed week could throw off a month. And now they were 2 weeks deep with no solution. The co-op cut ties officially. Another supplier backed out due to logistics uncertainty. One of her brothers posted in a local Facebook group asking if anyone had a flatbed they could borrow for a short-term route workaround. Desperate. That's what it was now. And her? She was still trying to hold it together, calling vendors, trying to redirect shipments to the east entrance. But it wasn't built for that. One truck already blew a tire trying to turn off the soft shoulder. She hadn't called me again. I figured she knew it wouldn't go anywhere, but I heard she'd gone to the zoning board herself, alone. Didn't matter. The toll stayed. Clay adjusted it last week. Rates increased for commercial carriers during peak hours. Nothing illegal, just inconvenient enough to make it unworkable. And I hadn't lifted a finger since the deal closed. Everything that was happening, I'd already seen it coming, laid it out like a blueprint. Their dependence, their shortcuts, their arrogance. All I had to do was step out of the way and let gravity take over. This wasn't revenge. It was math. I didn't need to watch it crumble. I just kept doing what they never did. Plan ahead. The land was mine once. My sweat, my time, my back put into it. They erased me from the table, but not from the foundation. And now? Every toll they paid was a reminder. They weren't just losing a road. They were losing everything they thought they had under control. Late Friday afternoon, I heard a knock. Not pounding this time. Measured, formal. I opened the door and found a man in a navy blazer, leather briefcase in hand. His tie was too tight for this heat. "Mr. Carver?" I nodded. "That's me. I represent the Bennett family." Of course he did. "May I come in?" "No need," I said. "We can do this right here." He hesitated, then opened the briefcase and pulled out a crisp envelope. "They'd like to settle the easement matter quietly. Full buyback of the road rights. Lump sum." He handed me the paper. The number was high, higher than I expected. I folded it without reading the fine print. "No." The lawyer blinked. "You're declining the offer?" "I'm declining this offer. If they want the road back, they'll need to want it more than that." He cleared his throat. "They're prepared to increase slightly, but this is a good faith attempt to resolve. They've had years to resolve things. They just didn't think I'd ever matter. This dispute is impacting business. That's the point." He shifted his weight, clearly uncomfortable. "They're willing to negotiate in good faith if you're open to—" "I'm not." He stared at me, like he was waiting for the mask to slip, for some flash of guilt or second thoughts. It never came. "You can tell them," I said, "that the road isn't just a road. It's a lesson. And I don't sell those cheap." I stepped back, started to close the door. He tried one last time. "Mr. Carver, they're struggling. This could ruin them." I met his eyes. "Then they'll finally know how it felt." And I shut the door. No calls, no follow-ups, no second thoughts. They gambled I'd always stay quiet, always stay small. But now, they couldn't move a damn thing without me, and that's how I knew this fight was over.